What are the pros and cons of purchasing a new construction home? That's what this video is about. A lot of you as of late that I'm working with have been really interested in new construction homes. And those of you that have been eyeing resale homes have actually opted into new construction homes. Now, don't get me wrong, there's quite a lot of people that I'm working with that are also interested in existing homes, but just for whatever reason, a lot of you, the majority of you actually, as of this year, are really interested in new construction homes. And so I thought it's good timing for me to do a video that talked about the pros and cons of purchasing a new construction home. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name is Katrin.pfitzenreiter. I'm a real estate agent in Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, and Venice. Whether you're looking to purchase or even list your home in the area, I would love to team up with you. Call me, email me anytime. And without further ado, we're going to get right into this video. We're going to start with the first pro, and that is an obvious one, which is there's going to be lower maintenance involved, especially in the first few years. And that's because the house is brand new. Nobody's ever lived in it before. So you'll have a brand new roof, electric panels, plumbing, water heater, AC, and so forth. So that is a comfort level that a lot of you are actually looking for. Plus the home comes with a warranty of some kind. New construction homes, unless you purchase a move-in ready spec home, you have the opportunity to customize the home to your liking. Now, it will depend on what type of developer you go with. Some developers aren't going to enable you to customize it as much. Now, the way I would think of developers is by putting them into one of these three different types. So a truly custom type of developer is going to be somebody like a Lee Withington or John Cannon, and there you have the opportunity to build a one-of-a-kind home. This is going to be the most expensive option. It's going to require a lot of decision making on your end because you're going to be working with an architect, and typically the timeline tends to be much further out. Now, a second option is to go with a semi-custom developer such as a Toll Brothers, Coulter. I would even put in Taylor Morrison here, where you'll have plenty of different floor plans to choose from and the opportunity to actually manipulate the floor plan. So if you wanted to add in another bedroom, for example, on the second floor, a lot of times you can, or maybe you wanted to have another garage added to the floor plan. A lot of times you can. So you can make structural updates, but you have floor plans to choose from already. So it makes the decision-making process a lot easier. Now, once you've chosen your floor plan and the structural updates, then you have an opportunity to go into the design center and make quite a lot of design choices, right? So you'll be able to pick the flooring, the countertops you want in the home. There's a lot of different opportunities to really put in your personal touches. Now, the most affordable option is going to be working with a production developer. And here, think of D.R. Horton or Lennar. Now, when you're working with these types of developers, you don't really have much of an opportunity to make changes onto the floor plan. You'll be able to pick your floor plan and you'll be able to pick upgrades, design upgrades inside of the house, but you won't have as many options as you would with semi-custom builders. The advantage of going with a production developer is it's going to be the most affordable option, and typically the timeline is going to be a lot shorter as well. Right now, a lot of you guys are taking advantage of spec homes, which are essentially move-in ready homes, and in that case, you're not going to be able to choose your customizations. You're essentially agreeing to what the developer has already chosen for the house. Usually do a really good job at picking finishes and color schemes that are very neutral and that appeal to a larger buyer pool. And so if you're looking for a new construction home, you don't want to make any of the decisions going through the design center, and you want something that is much faster to move into, then I would say spec homes is the way to go right now, especially because they're running so many incentives on these spec homes. Because it's a new construction home, it essentially has modern features that a lot of you guys are now looking for. And the most obvious one is an open floor plan where the living space and the kitchen are very much intertwined, and the whole flow of the home seems much more cohesive, much more open. Then, of course, many of you guys are looking for energy efficient windows and just a home that's much more energy efficient, and that's what you're going to be getting with new construction homes. Here in Florida, the homes are built to the latest code. So every 3 years, the Florida building code is updated. It can be amended every year, but it's updated every 3 years. The Florida building code is one of the strictest in the United States. One of the requirements for new construction homes is that they need to withstand hurricane force winds. And that's just another aspect of buying a new construction home that really does ease people's minds. Many of these new construction communities are extremely amenities rich. Many tend to be gated. You'll find a amenity center there, tennis courts, pickleball courts, a lifestyle coordinator, a gym. Some of them have way more amenities than just what I've mentioned here. And that, for a lot of you, especially coming from northern parts such as New York or maybe Canada, to you that is truly resort style living like you've always dreamt about. And so you will opt into these new construction communities partially because of the amenities you get in these communities. This is really feedback that I've heard from a lot of buyers who bought into new construction communities, is that it's much easier to make friends because, well, it's a new community. So everybody that's moving in, even if you're in phase 2 or phase 3, still has much greater chances of making friends because guess what? Their neighbor may be new as well. And so if you don't have your circle of friends yet, you typically are more open-minded in making friends, and you also have more time in making friends because you don't have a set group to hang out with and do things with. And so the opportunities for making new friendships in a new construction community is extremely appealing to many of you. Everything in life has the good and the not so good, the yin and the yang, right? But they all kind of work into balancing each other out. And so now let's look at the cons of purchasing a new construction home. First one is typically you're going to be paying a higher price tag. And I'll just give you an example. Let's just say you're building a new home and the total cost is about $1.2 million in Sarasota right now. It's a pool house. That same home in a similar type of existing community is probably going to cost you more, around $1 million. So the rule of thumb is, and this is really going to depend on where the new construction community is and the location in Florida, but the rule of thumb is you're typically going to be paying anywhere from 8% to 10% more when it comes to new construction homes. But with spec homes, there's actually an opportunity right now because developers are getting ready in anticipation of a recession. So they're trying to sell off these spec homes very quickly because they're anticipating that the number of buyers coming into the marketplace during recession is going to be even lower, and it's costing them a lot of money to keep these spec homes on the books. And so the biggest incentives that I'm seeing right now is with spec homes, where you can negotiate the price of the home in many cases. They'll give you a lot of incentives towards closing costs, upgrades. And if you do the comparison, spec home versus an existing home, you might actually be doing pretty well. Now there's the wait time. If you're purchasing an existing home, you're going to be able to move in there fairly quickly depending on when you went under contract and how long it takes for you to close. Typically the closing is about 4 to 6 weeks here in Florida, so it's much faster for you to be able to move in. With a new construction home, unless it's a spec home that's already ready move-in, but if you're building from scratch, it could take anywhere from 10 to 12 months and sometimes even longer. It really depends on the developer and of course the type of climate we're in, right? Right now, supply and labor challenges aren't as bad as they were in 2021, so I'm expecting that these timelines are going to look a lot better from now on moving forward. You have a limited selection of the location you could live in because new construction communities tend to be more on kind of the outskirts of the city. Right around the city center, that's already built up. And I'll give you an example. Here in Sarasota, if you wanted new construction gated resort style living, you essentially just have 3 major parts to look in. You've got Lakewood Ranch, that entire area there. You've got south of Lakewood Ranch, which I'm going to call east of 75, which is Highway 75. And then an area in Palma Ranch where there's a few new construction communities. So that's limiting, especially if you're somebody that's actually wanted to live much closer to the beaches, say Siesta Key or Lido Key. Well, you're not going to find new construction there. You might be better off than finding an existing home and maybe updating it. Neighborhood uncertainty. Because it's a new construction community, you don't know what the resale values are going to be in 3-5 years from now, what the neighborhood is going to feel like. Now, you might actually be able to get a lot in a new construction community that's already been around for 3 or 4 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. And that gives you a better sense of how the neighborhood is going to feel like, who's moved in, and how the plans are really shaping up in reality. But if it's a brand new construction community, the model center just opened and you're one of the very first people to purchase a lot, the amenity center is not even open yet, you're really putting your faith in the developer's concepts as they utilize to sell you on the new construction community. And you're hoping that this community is going to be popular in 5 to 10 years. Where if you're purchasing an existing home in a certain community, say in Palma Ranch or in Gulf Gate, you already know what the community feels like, and you know whether it's a popular community or not because it's been around for a long time. Typically, the cost per square foot is going to be higher for new construction homes versus an existing home, right? But you're also going to get a smaller lot. So typically, these new construction homes sit on much smaller lots because the developers are really focusing on kind of the amenities portion, offering you true resort style living opportunities while kind of squishing all these homes together a bit more in order to also maximize their profit. With existing homes, especially the ones from the 1990s, you'll see in general that the homes typically sit on a much larger lot. And so if you're somebody that wants more property around you, you want more privacy, then maybe new construction is not the way to go. Perhaps it makes more sense for you to find an existing home that either you can upgrade, you can renovate it, or maybe it's already been upgraded. And there's definitely a lot of options in Florida, in Sarasota, where I live as well. It can take years for a new construction community to be fully developed. So if you're one of the first ones to move in, say it's in phase 1 of construction, you're going to be dealing with construction trucks and developments for months or even years to come. So if you're somebody that's interested in new construction, get yourself a realtor, somebody who's going to help you through the process. A realtor who's actually focused on new construction communities can really help you even save money. They'll help you with the negotiation. They'll help you in terms of saving money in the design center. There's so many advantages to using a realtor. Find yourself a good realtor. Now, if you're somebody that's looking to purchase a new construction home in Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Welland Park, Parrish, and Palmetto, I would love to team up with you. Call me, email me anytime. Now, if you enjoyed this video, if it was insightful to you, please do me a favor, like this video. It does help out the video's performance. And thank you so much for tuning in today. I always appreciate when you guys do. Take care.